Hey everyone. The next thing that we're going to see in the space of agent to agent evaluation is about chats. So, how are you going to evaluate, a chat agent? So, you could name the agent anything that you want to do and you just say chat only, and you could create an agent. And once you create an agent, the first thing that's very, very important is basically you need to give as much as information possible to LambdaTest agent so that we could go ahead and analyze, work, and see what kind of scenarios that we want to generate to have that conversation with your bot. So you could browse, give any kind of PRD documents, files, diagrams, flowcharts, whatnot, and you could basically process and generate. And once you click on process and generate, behind the scene, what we're going to do is we will create an entire workflow which is going to create a number of scenarios for you. And this is how your scenarios would basically look like, right? And in this case, so basically the scenario that's it's basically generated based on the context that you have basically provided is, return a refund at the maximum threshold just below the cap. You could also go ahead and edit these scenarios, add more information that you basically want to do. And at the same time, also you can add these, remove the validation criteria, or you can also add another validation criteria as well, along with what, LambdaTest has generated. And the next thing is, if you see there are a bunch of categories that you want to evaluate against, like bias detection, hallucination. So these are the kind of metrics that we sort of evaluate when the entire conversations happen between the LambdaTest agent and the agent under test. There are two informations that we gather. One is the curl command, and the other one is the response schema. Why is this so important? This is the only way that we can sort of communicate with your bot. That is through a curl. That's nothing but a request. So you provide us your curl command and also the request schema, so we know what kind of response that your bot would be returning and how we want to look through it and parse it. And once that is done, the next third step over here is you parse and evaluate. Now, what happens behind the scene over here is, so we execute each of the scenarios. So each of the scenarios is like one agent. So we'll spin up one LambdaTest agent behind the scene, which is basically going to have that conversation as a user against the agent under test, right? And so all of these scenarios that you see would behave as a specific agent behind the scenes, and they will be executing, in HyperExecute. So once they completely run, you will also see an evaluation results in space where basically we would capture all of these matrices over here. So if you go into one of these, you see there's a bias detection turned out to be green and all the others are red. And of course, this specific scenario has been failed in the evaluation phase. So in the turns, you could see that, the LambdaTest agent is basically trying to have this conversation with the agent on the test to say, hi, I'm trying to track my order, but I can't seem to find it. My order number is so. And immediately the agent under test responds. So then the conversation is going, between the LambdaTest agent and the agent under test. So based on this entire conversation, so we sort of calculate these matrices. So clicking on all properties is going to give you a very detailed, fine view of how this entire conversation has been evaluated on. So you see overall result has been failed. And we also say why. A user provided an order number that matches the correct format but does not exist in the order management system. This could happen due to a typo on the phone number or if the order was placed through a different system. And if you see through this, most of the metrics are red over here. And we also give some analysis over here. Why we feel that, this has been scored 0, not even a 50% threshold, right? Because, failed to address the user's main concerns. The user's primary goal was to track an order, which the agent completely failed to do. Instead, it repeatedly misinterpreted the request as an order cancellation and eventually stated it couldn't track orders, like leaving the user's need entirely unaddressed. And so we also give these entire, analysis reason as well, why we feel that its completeness is basically 0, right? And as you scroll down, we also show you the areas of improvement, that how you could improvise the bot for this specific scenario, and also some recommendations, right? Which is very important because just showing a pass and fail is not going to take you out anywhere, but giving you some areas of improvements and recommendations, how you can make the scenario better. I think that's the real part of it, right? And this is exactly how we sort of do this entire evaluation from a chat perspective. And all of these conversations that you see are basically not structured. And every question or every answer that basically comes out from the lambda test agent is purely autonomous based on how the app under test is basically behaving. Yeah, and that's exactly what we have under the entire chat space for evaluation. Thank you.